a pragmatic approach to the study of time and space with reference to life. In other words, the study of the movement of planets, or grahas, across the zodiac, or rashis, and their impact on human affairs and the natural world.
What is astrology? Key concepts. The zodiac is a belt of the heavens divided into 12 equal divisions or signs, each named after the constellation that appears within its sector. These signs are Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. A horoscope is a chart or diagram representing the positions of the sun, moon, planets, and astrological aspects at the time of an event, usually the moment of a person's birth. It is used to interpret various aspects of a person's life, including their personality and future. Also known as a birth chart, a natal chart is a detailed map of where each planet was located at the exact time and place of a person's birth. Astrologers use the natal chart to interpret an individual's life path and potential. In astrology, planets are believed to govern different aspects of life and human behavior. For instance, Venus is associated with love and beauty, while Mars is linked to energy and aggression. Please share some historical anecdotes on astrology.
Anecdote 1. Tipu Sultan, known for his military prowess and keen intellect, also had a fascination with astrology. In his court, there was an astrologer renowned for his accuracy and insight. Despite Tipu's interest in astrology, he was skeptical of predictions, believing that a person's fate was determined more by their actions than by the stars. One day, in a curious mood, Tipu Sultan summoned the astrologer and asked him a challenging question. "Can you tell me the exact date and time of my death?" The astrologer, aware of Tipu's reputation and the dangerous implications of his prediction, knew that he had to answer carefully. After a moment of contemplation, he looked at Tipu Sultan and said, "Your Majesty, according to the stars, you will die in a distant place, far from your kingdom. But I must also warn you that your death will occur when the new moon rises in the month of Zulqa'dah." Tipu Sultan was intrigued, but not entirely convinced. "And what about your own death?" Tipu asked with a slight smile, testing the astrologer further. The astrologer, sensing the Sultan's intent, replied with great composure, "Your Majesty, according to my calculations, I shall die 3 days before you do." Tipu Sultan was struck by the astrologer's confidence and cleverness. He decided to test the astrologer's prediction. Over time, Tipu Sultan grew more mindful of the astrologer's words, but continued his campaigns against the British with undeterred resolve. As the story goes, years later, during the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, Tipu Sultan was fighting the British forces. The astrologer, knowing that the fateful month of Zulqa'dah was approaching, took ill and passed away, just as he had predicted. 3 days later, on the 4th of May, 1799, which coincided with the month of Zulqa'dah and the rise of the new moon, Tipu Sultan was killed in the Battle of Srirangapatna, far from his capital. The astrologer's prediction was thus fulfilled, and he managed to save himself from any potential wrath of the Sultan by cleverly forecasting his own death before Tipu's. Now, compare this with the scene in the movies like Amethi Padai or Jalad, where at some point in the movie, Amavas consults an astrologer, known for his accuracy in predicting the future. The astrologer, an elderly man with a deep understanding of astrology, is brought to Amavas's mansion to predict his future. The astrologer, after studying Amavas's horoscope, hesitantly informs him that his future does not look bright. He predicts that Amavas's end is near, implying that he will face imminent death or defeat. This prediction is not well received by Amavas, who has always seen himself as invincible and beyond the reach of fate. Upon hearing the prediction, Amavas becomes enraged. He sees the astrologer's words as a direct challenge to his authority and power. In a fit of anger, Amavas pulls out a gun and, in a cold-blooded manner, shoots the astrologer point blank. The astrologer falls to the ground, dead, while Amavas stands over him, unfazed by the act of violence he has just committed. The real story is about Srirangapatna's astrologer who displayed wisdom and astute knowledge of astrology, which is in stark contrast to what is generally shown in the movies. One famous anecdote about my wisdom involves a prediction about a mango tree. Once, King Vikramaditya, curious about my abilities, decided to test me. The king, along with his ministers, brought me to a mango grove in the royal garden. Among the many mango trees, the king pointed to one and asked, "Tell me, O learned one, will this tree bear fruit this season?"
Varahamihira carefully observed the tree, its surroundings, and the position of the planets before making his prediction.
I stated with confidence, "This tree will certainly bear fruit, but its fruits will never be eaten."
The king and his ministers were puzzled by this statement. The tree looked healthy, and there was no apparent reason why its fruits would go uneaten. Nonetheless, they waited for the season to see if Varahamihira's prediction would come true. As predicted, the mango tree bore an abundance of fruit. The king, curious about the next part of the prediction, ordered the fruits to be harvested immediately. However, before they could be plucked, a violent storm struck the region. The winds were so strong that all the mangoes were blown off the tree and scattered far and wide, many of them damaged beyond consumption. True to Varahamihira's words, not a single fruit from that tree was eaten. The king and his ministers were astounded by the accuracy of the prediction and realized that Varahamihira's wisdom went beyond the ordinary.
One of the most famous stories about my astrological prowess involves my prediction about the rise of Chandragupta Maurya, who would go on to establish the Maurya Empire, one of the largest empires in Indian history. The story goes that I was once walking through a forest when I encountered a group of young boys playing. Among them was a young Chandragupta. The boys were playing a game where they acted out the roles of kings and ministers.
Chandragupta, although just a child, was playing the role of a king with remarkable authority and confidence. Chanakya observed the game and was immediately struck by the aura and demeanor of Chandragupta. His keen astrological insight and deep understanding of human nature made him realize that this boy was destined for greatness.
I saw in Chandragupta the qualities of a great ruler and, after studying his horoscope, confirmed that the stars aligned in favor of Chandragupta becoming a mighty king.
Recognizing this potential, Chanakya took Chandragupta under his wing and began to train him in the arts of warfare, statecraft, and governance. Chanakya also played a crucial role in overthrowing the Nanda dynasty and installing Chandragupta as the ruler of Magadha, thereby fulfilling his own prophecy. Under Chanakya's guidance, Chandragupta Maurya went on to establish one of the most powerful empires in Indian history, unifying much of the Indian subcontinent. That's all for now. Stay tuned for more.